God, I'm so sick, but my voice sounds so good. I don't know which. It's like a blessing and a curse. So Apex Legends has been out for a little while. I've taken the liberty of going onto the Reddit of Apex Legends and asking the residents there what they think of every gun in the game. Right now, I've got around 86 responses per gun, so I'm just going to be going through them right now. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on each of these right off the bat. We got the alternator. A good majority, a little bit more than half of people think that it's just decent. I think it definitely needs a little bit more of a buff to damage to make it a lot more reliable in gunfights. Or maybe just buff the starting ammo, because right now it's just unuseful unuseful? That's not a word. Right now it's just not useful without an extended light mag. Devotion has the same problem. You need the turbocharger hop up, and you need some kind of like decent barrel stabilizer in order to actually be able to reliably hit your shots. Everyone seems to think that it's kind of alright, maybe a little bit below average. Eva A, I haven't used too much. I'm not a huge fan of it, but everyone else seems to think that, hey, it's pretty alright. There's a small majority of people that seem to think it's overpowered, but I don't think it has the damage to do that. Flatline, I think it could have a bit of a nerf to its damage, but other than that, I think it's in a relatively good place. The G7, it seems to just be a great all-around weapon. No one seems to think that it's overpowered. It's just a good, like, mid to long range weapon. For light ammo, it really does the job well. Havoc, I got a lot of mixed responses. It seems like everyone kind of wants it to be good, but right now it just seems to be stuck in this kind of limbo of just being either bad, or once you get the turbocharger, it does crazy output damage. Hemlock seems to be, no one seems to think that it's overpowered, which I think is a good thing. I think with the single fire, I think it needs to do a little bit more damage when you swap to the single fire mode, but just kind of like the Havoc. Like the Havoc takes 5 ammo instead of 1 per shot when you switch it to single fire, but it does a lot more damage per shot. So I think something like that for the Hemlock would work out beautifully. The longbow, no one seems to really kind of use snipers as much as they should in this game. So good. Half the people think that it's good. That's kind of a biased statistic, I feel like, because everyone is like, hey, I'm good with a sniper, and therefore I'm good with a longbow. The Mastiff, everyone seems to think that it's great. A quarter of the people seem to think that it's overpowered, which I would agree on. I think it needs a little bit of a nerf, add a bit more damage fall off, because right now it's got around 20 feet before it like really starts to lose damage. Other than that, you could, from that 20 feet radius, it just does a lot of damage, like straight up 100 if you hit all the pellets. The P2020, everyone thinks it's awful. This is the most, like, straight up, besides the Mozambique, this is the most unanimous thing on the poll. Everyone seems to think that this is awful. The Peacekeeper, this was a bit of a hot topic, this and the Wingman. The Peacekeeper, everyone seems to think that it's great. A little bit over a third seems to think it's overpowered. I'm inclined to agree. I think the damage needs to be toned down a little bit. Another thing that you could do is reduce the damage on each individual pellet, but have it so that if you hit all of the pellets, then it does the same amount of damage. Because that way, you would be rewarding accuracy like the Precision Choke actually wants. The Prowler is in a bit of a weird state right now. As you can see by the graph, 40% of people think that it's real good, and then just the exact opposite. You got 34, almost 35% of people that just think it's decent. I think if you have the hop up for it, then it turns into a real devastating machine. I just got done playing the game with it. I think I'll put some footage up on screen right now. It does a lot of good damage, but it's that argument of Prowler versus Hemlock that I think comes down to a lot of people because of how infrequent the select fire is going to be some games. The R99 I think is one of the best weapons in the game. It's got good damage, it's got a good clip size. You can one clip someone that is like in blue body armor if you hit all the body shots. I know I've done it before. And if you get the upgrades for it, it just turns into a laser beam. This thing is a beast. I think the damage on it needs to be toned down just a little bit. Now we also got the R301. I think the same thing that goes with the R99. I think the damage needs to be toned down, and everyone else here seems to agree. The RA45, I think people are kind of missing the point. The same with the P2020. I don't think these pistols are meant to be something that you take into late game and just kind of dominate with. Everyone seems to think that it's just decent. I'm inclined to agree, but I definitely wouldn't be taking it into a firefight, and I think that's where people are getting confused. It's just meant to be a good starting weapon. Now the Spitfire, I personally think this is a really, really overpowered weapon, mainly because of how much damage output it actually has. The reload speed on it is way too fast for like a light machine gun. The attachment that you can get for it, it shouldn't have a barrel stabilizer on it. That makes it too good, I feel like. So if you could remove the ability to put a barrel stabilizer on it, I feel like that would nerf the gun, but not nerf it into uselessness. The triple take, I got a lot of mixed responses. People seem to think that it's either awful or decent, or it's good and overpowered. It's split like 50-50. Like good and above is 50, decent below is 50. I personally think that if you don't have that choke, this is the same situation with the Prowler. If you don't have that choke, you're not going to be hitting your shots. Now the Wingman, 59.3% of people, almost 60% of people think this gun is overpowered. Everyone else just seems to think that it's good, except for one guy who just thinks that it's awful. Other than that, this gun definitely needs a nerf to its damage, or at least increase the damage fall off. Because, yes, if you are good, you can absolutely dominate. There is no question about it. But I shouldn't be able to burst down someone. It's like the Mozambique, but if the Mozambique actually had a good clip size. And I feel like that's what's getting people, like, upset. And not to mention that it has the range of similar guns, kind of like the R99. I think it's got the same range as that. The damage fall off is almost non-existent on it. So if you could fix the damage fall off on it, maybe tone the damage down a little bit. What you could do is reward more precision headshots, right? Decrease the damage on the body, but increase the damage on the head. That way, if people are getting one-tapped or, like, three-shotted by a wingman, then they know, oh, that guy is an actual good player because he just hit me with 3 headshots, as opposed to, oh, that guy is a bad player because he's using the wingman. As for the general state of Apex, I think it's in a beautiful place right now. I feel like that even if you got Fortnite over here that's attempting to copy all of the mechanics that have been put in place, like respawn beacons and pinging, I feel like Apex is going to be sticking around for a long time. I feel like Respawn did a great job. Alright, now we gotta be very, very quiet, alright? It is a very delicate situation. And just like that, that's 48 damage. Look at how good we are at this video game. Alright, fuckers, I'm back. What are we doing? Nothing? Oh, okay.
You're in their sights.
Glad someone informed me. What is my aim? Holy hell. I am so ridiculously good at this video game, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this squad, bro. Oh my god, not again. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Nice. That was anticlimactic.